maybe we'd have won that. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, you look at it and go, oh, it's brilliant and everything there. But if you had the right tools there, maybe, you know, we could have gone there. And in the end, I look at it, and as well as we've done in it, I still look at it as a missed opportunity, because look at PSV. They was never done that to us, what they done to Inter Milan. So we weren't far off. Let's get that right. We weren't far off.
But we didn't seize the present moment. And that's been the case the last 3 years, really.
Yeah. And sometimes, dare I say it, those moments don't come along. You know what I mean? Like Real Madrid changed their manager. You don't know what's going to happen. You know, you might not get to the semi-final next time for whatever reason. Might be like,
I don't know what the future brings.
You don't know. So we was in the opportunity there, and for them to throw it away. And at the end of it, like, you know, not to get any striker. And one of the reasons that they said it was like, well, we're not going to bring in Ollie Watkins because it's going to, you know, impact on our striker. And here we are. What is it now? The 9th of July.
July even, yeah.
Still no striker through the door. I don't know how long the window's going, but if you want
September 1st, so like what, just under 2 months?
It's a saving. It's 2 weeks. So that's 5 weeks in January, 2 weeks now, 7 weeks, and they've done nothing. And you can even go like
in last summer as well.
Yeah. So, like, you know, you've had a long enough time to get this over the line now. I laugh when people say, like, you know, I'll be patient. And listen, I've got funny. A few of my mates and all that, like, we're in the group chats going, like, you know, there's a few negative guys in, there's a few positive guys. There you go. Oh, you know what I mean? Where's your apologies? Say sorry now. The Cronkies and Arteta have done the business. And I looked at it and I said, what have we signed? Who have we signed? Have you seen
anyone at London Goal you holding the shirt?
No, it's advanced. Ah.
You got to be holding shirts, man, and that's what frustrates me, because it's almost like I think there's many fans that have been patient, that have said where they're wrong and whatnot, but at some point the patience has to get cut. You have to be impatient, because we've known this. For me, it's the areas we've known we've needed to address. I want to ask you something on the recruitment front. Do you think it's just a case of you get better players, like you get a striker, you get a left winger, and all our problems go away, or do you think tactically? Because I still think we'd struggle with breaking down low blocks. I guess what I'm saying is there still stuff Arteta has to do on a tactical front on the training ground, as well as bringing players in?
Been asked this question a lot. Like, if you bring in players like that, I think organically it changes. I think by bringing in a proper centre forward, your tactics change naturally. You know what I mean? I think that players can get better from it, i.e. Saka, where at this moment in time, he's got 3 players around him. Well, you know,
him against the world, really.
Yeah. Allow those 3 players to mark him and leave Gyökeres free in the box score, and then do that if you dare. They can do that at the moment because Kai Havertz is playing, you know, in midfield or playing on one of the wings. You know what I mean? Like, so you want to do that. All of a sudden, you've got someone to hit in the box in a different area. Kai Havertz does a good job when it's on the halfway line, but you ain't going to hurt no one in the defence there. Like, but if you've got the ball and you're in and around, like Odegaard, all of a sudden he's got the wall on the 18-yard box. You know, you play that ball in there and runners coming off. I think it will help all over. I think that if you're a winger, when you go around your man, you look up, or you don't even have to look up. You know that there's going to be no one in the box because, you know, the player that should be in the box has just played one
in midfield.
Yeah, he's played you in midfield.
All the guys there are centre halves.
So you have to cut back, you know, or cut inside and whatever. But you know that. Listen, in football, there was always a thing of wide players, and you know, going back in my day, it used to be like a big practice, like, you know, get the ball out wide player hit near post. You know,
exactly
near post, and that was a goal. Whether that's out of the game or not, you know, I think Giroud done it a few times and got goals from it. But that's something that, you know, a wide player, like if you was a wide player, and I pick on Martinelli, who's a little bit more direct than Saka. So beat your man, cross the ball in near post, score. All of a sudden, oh, it's an assist for the wide player. You know, like puts the ball in now, no one there, gets cleared. So I think it could not only be beneficial for the centre forward, but also the players around them. And listen, if you're squeezing, as you know, you're squeezing a high line to get the players in behind. All of a sudden, like if you got someone like Gyökeres and that, the defence have to drop back another 10 yards. Well, what does that do? It opens up the midfield. All of a sudden, Odegaard's got a little bit more space than what
Rice and yeah, bang on.
You know, and you can go in there. Now, if you're playing against a low block team, right, you know, and they're playing deep, okay, that's fine. You've then got the option of putting it into the box. You've also got the option then of playing two, like an Eze and a Odegaard, to try and open up things from there. Like, so I do think that it will change slightly from that point of view.
I don't think you're lying. I want to get into some of the transfer stuff as well. Like, again, before we go back on Gyökeres, I think David Ornstein's actually, since we've been online, provided some sort of update. But what do you feel about Madueke and our pursuit of Madueke? I can't say I've got goosebumps.
I've got bumps, but they're certainly not goosebumps. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I think if you was to sign Gyökeres and you signed Eze and then you sign him, I've got no problems with that. I think that, yeah, okay, that's all right. But if you sign Gyökeres and you turn around to me and say, we're signing him because we can't afford Eze, I will be furious.
This is what I'm saying, Lee. Like, there's no way in God's green earth that you can find the finances for Madueke and not Eze. I don't even know if Eze will continuously be our left winger or he'll be the option. But assuming he was, even though we know he can play in the 10, 8 and off the right, I reckon Madueke prefers to play in Saka's role, so off the right. Eze's probably better than him at that. Eze's clearly a level raiser where you look at Trossard or Martinelli. Madueke is kind of the same. I know people say he's young and you never know. And listen, I hope it ends up being a masterstroke. But I can't see how this is a level raiser. I don't see how this gets us closer to like what historically City have been and what Liverpool are at the moment. Like, am I wrong for thinking that?
Yeah, no. And at the end of it, like, you know, you're giving them 50 million as well on top of it, like helping them out, like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, if it was 20 million, I think they bought him for 20 million or 25.
So they're going to make profit.
Yeah. No, thank you. Oh, listen, you know what I mean? Like, if Arsenal do it and he comes to Arsenal, of course you're going to back him because he's an Arsenal player. He'd be an Arsenal player. But, you know what I mean? Like, on Arteta and the board, be it. Because if you're putting 50 million down for that, you are, how can I put it without being nice? Like, you know, you're putting that.
Say what you feel, man.
You're putting pressure on yourselves there if you don't do it.
Exactly.
Because I will look at that and go, like, that 50 million could have gone on Sesko if that's the striker you wanted, what I was saying earlier on, like, you know what I mean? You know, and that could have gone on Eze, or it could have gone on, you could have actually gone and maybe forced Real Madrid and gone and got a Rodrigo and an Eze as well. I just don't see the sense of it at this moment in time, like, you know what I mean? And listen, I've got no problem with when people turn around and go, oh, it's Chelsea and all that, like, you know what I mean? I've got no problem taking Kepa off of Chelsea for 5 million. I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with the Kai Havertz one. The problem I've got with the Kai Havertz one is that I think we paid a little bit too much over.
Yeah, we fleeced ourselves
for a little bit, like, yeah, you know what I mean? So if you've done that once, why are you not doing that for the game changer that's going to win you the league? You know what I mean?
And it seems like we're always aggressively when it comes to like Madueke or this kind of caliber of player. Like it progresses quite quickly, but the others don't. So I don't know what's going on, man.
Well, I don't know. Like, Chelsea say it's 50 million, we go, yeah, hey, we'll pay that. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really understand that. Like, you know, it's particularly when these things are, you know, like if that comes in before. Listen, I'm not going to go too mad and all that, but like the next signing that Arsenal got to make, I know Norgard's done and dusted now. Like the next signing is the striker. I don't care what it is, like, you know what I mean? Because I don't want that messing up the centre forward. And at the end of the day, we haven't got a centre forward come pre-season and all that. Like I just think it'd be like, you know, there's people at this football club that I can't trust no more on doing deals. You know what I mean? Like, you know. And I get it that, you know, it's not necessarily in order of whatever, like, but I think now after what happened in January, like I still the forward should be the priority, the first one through the door. I don't if Gyökeres gets signed tomorrow, I'm quite happy if whatever comes after that. I know that sounds like, you know what I mean, cool. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that.
Because you got your striker that we've wanted for years.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean, you feel like you've got a chance of going into the league to win things. You know what I mean? Come on, you know what I mean? That's how I look at it. I don't think that it's too much to ask. You know what I mean? Get your centre forward that you need, and then, like, you know, anything that happens after that, you know, I don't think Arsenal fans would be as wild about it as they are. You know what I mean?
We'd be more open to it.
Yeah, listen, I think that, you know, Man United, Liverpool, Man City, all transfers take their time. You know what I mean? And, you know, like, for instance, Man United find it difficult. They get the job done in the end, like, and everybody goes, well, why is it Arsenal say? I think most teams do this, but because it's us, you're heavily involved in it, aren't you? Like, you know, so
PTSD.
Yeah. So listen, I just think that, you know, get the striker done, and it just takes a little bit of pressure off of everybody. Like, you know, I've got no interest in going to the Emirates Cup at the moment. I've got no interest in Arsenal at this moment in time until that gets done, because I know what's coming. You know, I've had 3 years of backing it, and still you haven't got what you need. I look at it and go, like, what? What do we need? We need a striker. Well, go and get it, like, you know what I mean? And people go, oh, and then people pat you on the back. Oh, we needed a midfield player to boost to the squad and all that. Yeah, we do, but we ain't going to get you nowhere. At the end of the day, the striker does. And I'm sorry, in football, there's 3 or 4 players, whatever level you're at, that make the difference. And one of them is a centre forward.
That's why they're paid so much and everybody loves them.
Exactly that. You know what I mean? And if everybody could do it, it wouldn't be, would it?
Exactly. And our striker at the moment, or 2 of our best options on paper, they actually weren't bought to the club to be strikers. So we've kind of failed upwards in that regard. Like, again, that's the frustration with me, Lee. I agree with everything you say. It's just the fact of it's needed to happen for years. Like, fair enough, if we were in May towards the end of the season, we stumbled across on the fact that we need a forward, great, but we needed to do a lot of this last summer. Now, granted, time's gone, it is what it is, but just make sure you get everything done. There's a question on screen here, and I want to know your thoughts. To be honest, I do have questions. Eze plus Rodrigo. So I think they're saying, on one hand, would you want Eze and Rodrigo, but no striker, or a striker and one of Eze/Rodrigo?
Striker and one of the other. I think that if you've got Rodrigo and Eze, you'd still be there, but you're staying in the same position. You know what I mean? Like, they're not goal scorers. You know, we need a goal scorer. We need someone that's going to not only put the ball in the back of it. Listen, if we played Man United in the FA Cup and we had a goal scorer, we go through in that game. The reason we didn't go, we had 2 gilt-edged chances in that game. Havertz from 5 yards and missed it. The centre forward gets those goals. A proper centre forward gets those goals.
Last 2 times went out the FA Cup because we never had one that was going to put the ball in the back of net against United. It's annoying.
And you walk away with it, and you turn around and you walk out the ground going, I didn't play well today, but we're through. You know, even
and the 14 draws in the Prem, if we had a striker, we might have been crap, but we got 3 points. We keep it moving.
Exactly. And we've all played. I've played in games when you've not played. You know, you've been up against.
You know, you've been shit.
up against it, yeah, like, you know, been outplayed, and all of a sudden you 2 breakaways and you've scored 2 goals. And, you know, listen, I can't emphasise it. I know it's the same, I say it all the time, like, our vets team got 2 of the best forwards in the league, like, you know what I mean? They won 2 games last season we played without them. We drew both games 0-0.
See? That's why that's why you need strikers, man. They can get you out of jail. They can be cold killers. You need a forward.
I mean? Like, one was in a cup final, which we ended up winning on penalties, and the other one was a league game we drew 0-0. But, you know, and then the following week they're back, we win 4-0, 5-0. They make a difference. They're game changers. You know, I'm not saying that any centre forward, they've got to be bloody good.
They have to be, especially because we've been waiting years for one now.
But, you know what I mean? Like, there were times, you know what I mean? And at the end of it, like, I go back. I relate more to this now than anybody. Like, people won't remember Ian Wright. They may do, may not. Like, so we're going to Robin van Persie. I remember going to Liverpool and being outplayed at Liverpool, and he ended up scoring 2 or 3.
Exactly.
And we ended up winning the game. And he scored a couple of goals in that game. But if he doesn't play in that game,
we don't
win that game.
Exactly. A couple of years ago, Aubameyang and Adebayor and Henry, when I think like 07, 06, something like that. The early Emirates era, that kind of happened when we played Man United at the Emirates. So you're right, we can get out of jail.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it happens all the time. And listen, that is why they're paid millions and millions of pounds and all that. Unbelievably, like, you know, as someone has said earlier on, I don't know what I was watching. I was watching something like, you know, that I think it was Jordan said it. I think that the last 3 big signings have all been midfield players. I think it was Rice, Casido, and the other Chelsea midfield player,
Enzo. Yeah.
All over all over 100 million. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so makes us look a bit silly when we're saying that, but like it still does. Listen, if, for instance, Newcastle come out tomorrow and said he's up for sale, you ain't getting him for 50 million, are you?
You got to pay a premium, just like half of the big name players we're linked with.
Exactly. And why is that?
Because they cost a lot because of what you've been saying. They win games, they score goals, they're a hot commodity. Even in today's day and age, where I actually think the left wing and the striker market, to us football fans, there's a lot of good players, but there's not that many players you could hang your hat on and say, yeah, they're improving us. Like, you mentioned Isaac up front, that would be the dream. That's not happening. Then it's between Gyökeres and Sesko. So it's like, oh, that's why you're right in the point you just made.
Well, I think someone might just mentioned Harry Kane in the chat there. I just see it go through, but he went for 100 million at 30 years of age.
Strikers, because they win games.
Because they win games. We didn't win for Spurs, but he did win it. He did. He got them to finals.
Yeah,
you know what?
When he left, they won. Unfortunately,
for him, they wouldn't have got like after. You know what I mean? But like, this is what it's all about. Like, you know. So at the end of it, look, I'm pretty confident that Arsenal will get the man that they want. But for me, I think it is all about the forward. Get the forward in now, and then all the other things will come into play. I also think that if you was, I don't know, an Eze or even a Rodrigo, if you all of a sudden like Gyökeres is coming, you think as a player, you're thinking, well, they've got Gyökeres now, they've got Saka, they've got Martinelli, they've got Eze, they've got Odegaard. I'll fancy a bit of that. I might be able to, enjoy that.
They might tell Saka and Saliba to sign new deals because we're actually
all of that goes into play as well. Of course it does. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, I'll tell you what, like Zubimendi, like, you know, is a good signing. You know what I mean? There's other clubs that wanted Zubimendi, as we all know, but he chose us. It's got to be a reason why he decided that he didn't want to go to Liverpool and didn't want to go here and didn't want to go there and chose Arsenal. There must be something that enticed him to there, and you know what I mean. So, and I'm not having it. It's just London, you know what I mean. So there must be talks.
It's not the overriding factor.
Yeah, we're going to get so and so. We're going to get this player, and we're going to get that player. So I do think that let's just to try and relax a little bit before we go too mad about it. But I do think that, you know, time's ticking now. I do really feel that we need to have that centre forward on the plane to Singapore. I really do, especially with the games that we've got coming up as well. You know what I mean? Like I just say as we're talking, like they've announced that the Liverpool game's on a Sunday now, like, you know, which we knew it would be. But those first 3 or 4 games are big games for us, like, you know what I mean? And you want the centre forward up and running there. I feel, you know, I mean, you go to that game against Man United and you've got, like, I don't know, even if you say like Eze's not there, Eze on the bench, you've got Martinelli, Gyökeres and Saka as your front three, like, you know what I mean? Like Zubimendi, you know what I mean? Like, or, you know, or you look on the bench and you've got Eze on the bench, you've got Havertz on the bench, Zubimendi on the bench. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? You think, whoa,
got
like,
options.
We had, like, there was too many games last season. I know we had a lot of injuries, but there was too many games where we had 4 players. A couple of them have left now without even playing, that were never played for Arsenal and just sat on the bench for 2 months, 3 months.
Even when we beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, we had a bunch of kids and they've been released.
On the bench, you know what I mean? So this is what we need to do. It is about strengthening the squad, and that makes you stronger for other competitions as well.
I don't think you're lying, man. One love for the super chat, Hakeem. Hakeem has said, if we get Rodrigo, Eze, and Victor, do we really trust Arteta to do what's necessary for us to win in? For me, he has to make it happen, innit? I would say I need, regardless of who comes in, I need personally Arteta to evolve tactically. I think we're a bit predictable. I don't really feel our midfield central areas really exploit sides. It's been 2 years for me that we've had no answers to a low block, for example. And then obviously at times Arteta needs to be more proactive in changing, but it would go some way. But where do you stand on that, Lee?
Listen, I think Arteta, whatever you're going to say, is going to come under pressure and that. I'm in the camp at the moment. Look what he done from January to May. He got a tune out of Marino up front. Got
clearly a good manager.
Goals. So what if he's got a proper centre forward? You know, I do think he deserves a chance of that. Like, I don't know if that was his decision last year. You know, so many things happened in the summer. Edu left because of it. You don't know what really went on. Like,
a lot of moving parts on and off the field.
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to say this now. Like, you know, give Arteta the proper tools and let's see what happens. If he's got the proper centre forward and we don't win the league next season or we don't challenge for it, then there's debates and rightly so. But for me, I think he deserves that chance to have that proper centre forward up there. Like, you know, and people go, oh, he's going to mess it up. Well, all right, mess up what? You know what I mean? We're second in the league. You know what I mean? Like, we challenged for the league in the last couple of years, something that we haven't done for a very, very long while.
It's about getting over the line now.
Getting over the line. And there's a difference between managing a team to get into the top 4 and whatever, but which he's done. You know what I mean? 2 or 3 years ago, we wasn't even in the Champions League. We're in the Champions League now. But what it is now, and as far as I'm concerned, is you've got yourselves to a certain position in the league, second. People take the mickey out of you for that, like, but all those teams would love to be in that position as well.
Clearly, like, a good team. It's just, can we become a winning team?
It is now. Can you get us over the line? Are you the man to take us over the line? And that's not a criticism.
It's just a fair question.
It's a question, and
it's with it.
One that's there. I love him to get us over the line and
we all would
prove everybody wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? And if he does get us over the line next season, and the people that want him out, I'm pretty sure they go, there's my hands, I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair play. I got what I wanted.
Fair play. I got what I wanted. So I don't see that it is a criticism of questioning him on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think,
you know, Lee, there's a cult following, man. There's people that are religiously haters of Arteta, and then there's a cult following. And for me, it annoys me.
It works both ways.
Yeah, that's what it's too much division. Like, give the man his props and give the man his critiques where fair. And that goes for all the players and everything with this club. But that's not how it is anymore.
I'm in a position of I don't understand why he's got this so much love for the, you know what I mean, like, because I
Do they
think
fancy him?
I don't know what it is, because I think at the end of the day, I think what he's done is what I expect any Arsenal manager to do. You know what I mean? Challenge for the title. I'm not saying that they should win it, but that's what the least I expect. But then can you go on and win it? And I don't care. Excuse me. I don't care if
Bless you. Bless you again, Lee.
I don't care. You know, if he wins it, fantastic. If someone else comes and wins it, you know what I mean? I don't understand that side of it, but I don't understand the hate side of it as well.
Neither do I.
There's so much hate for him as well, like, because he has done us a good job as well, like, you know what I mean?
It's got us to this point. Like, it's just like what you said earlier, it's over the line time now.
Yes. And I don't think that, as I said, I don't think that's a criticism that should be used. I think, you know, at the end of it, it's a fair question and he's got to answer it. And I'm sorry, you're in elite sport. You know, you're getting paid top money. And that's why. And listen, Mikel's ruthless and has been ruthless with players over the years.
Chat, listen to what Lee says, because what do I always say? But go on, Lee, take it away, because he's going to say exactly what I say.
He's been ruthless with like the likes of Aubameyang. He's been ruthless with the likes of
Tierney, Ramsdale, even now Tomiyasu.
You know, like Tomiyasu, ruthless as anything. That, if you be honest, I'm not saying, but that's how football.
That's how we should be moving. There's too much sentiment.
So you've got to be ruthless the other way. I think that in football, you know, the higher you go up, the more ruthless it is. I think two things. One of my coaches said to me, like, you know what I mean, and it's true. He says, like, the higher you go up, two things definitely happen. Right? One, it gets more ruthless.
Facts.
And the other one is you travel more.
He said, well, yeah, up and down, yeah. And the hardest thing to do once we get to that mountain is to stay there.
Yeah, and it's so true. You know what I mean? Like, if the higher you go up in football, the more travelling you do. You know, and it's true. But the other side of it is it's ruthless, and it is true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're a manager and you're managing, I don't know, like a non-league team that's not paying no money, right? It's very hard, you know, hard to replace you. But if you're at a club where, you know, you're getting paid £100 a week, there's plenty of players you can get for £100 a week and come and play for your football club. So if you're not doing a business, you're going to be replaced. You know what I mean? Like, and if you get into a club
that goes for working life as well,
£200 for it, of course, and it goes up and up and up. So it is. So when you're in the Premier League, of course, it's ruthless. You know what I mean? Like, and it will be, and that's how it is. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that as a manager with Arteta, he's had more than enough grace.
Been there 5-6 years. I don't even like to do the whole 5-6 years thing, but like last 3 years we've been in. You've got us to this point, and I rate you as a manager. I think you've shown bloody big bollocks to take a massive job like Arsenal with no CV. I think you've got a lot wrong. I think you've got a lot right. I think when it's all said and done, going back to what you said, people can take the piss out of us for finishing second, but we're not getting embarrassed in the champs. We are a difficult team to play against in these 3 years. Not so much last year, but he's shown me many different ways of playing and being hard to beat. Like top 6 games used to be a write-off. Now they, you know, we've got a good record. The issue is because I rate you so highly, I have to hold you to them standards. It's like with Bukayo Saka. I think you're world class. So if you're getting 5 goals across a 38-game season, I'm going to have something to say. And I do think that has to extend to Arteta. And I'd say the bigger one for me, Lee, is now, I know you're a good manager. I applaud you for everything you've done. But can you get us into that realm? And I hope you can. But even if you're not, and you're the guy that's got us to this point, and someone else might enjoy the fruits of your labor, fair play. A lot of people say if Arteta was sacked tomorrow, who'd we get? That's a fair question. But then they always say the same thing about Arteta